I'm Heather Clancy, Editorial Director of GreenBiz, and I'm joined in the studio by Stan Osterman, the Director of the Hawaii Center for Advanced Transportation Technologies. Stan, hello.
Very good.
Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
You are an expert in a technology that I've been fascinated with for a while, but don't know much about. But hydrogen fuel cells seem to be becoming much more tenable, much more viable. Why is that so? What's happening with the technology that's making it a conversation and a conversation that's viable?
About 10 or 12 years ago, the federal government and a lot of the local governments put a lot of energy into developing fuel cells because of high oil prices.
Right.
And then that's tapered off with the oil prices dropping. What amazingly happened though was a lot of the technology development didn't stop, and it's kept on going. And we've gotten to a point now where the prices have come down, the weight has come down on some of the equipment, the things that really drive the market have come down. And so now we see a lot of companies that are going, this is a good business case on its own, even against fossil fuels. The hydrogen fuel cell, which is basically a self-charging battery,
Right.
is starting to make sense.
Now, California always gets mentioned as a place for testing, but Hawaii is doing a lot with this technology, or at least plans to. What's happening?
Right, well, we were actually surprised about 2 months ago, the Department of Energy listed us as one of the top 10 states in hydrogen. And that's a lot because in 2006, our state actually implemented legislation to push us toward a hydrogen economy. 3 years ago, the state designated me as the hydrogen implementation coordinator to actually start making some of the infrastructure happen. And my project is actually funded by the Air Force. And what we're trying to do for the Air Force is show them, I'm a retired Air Force officer, show them the benefits, the tactical benefits, as well as the technological and ecological benefits of hydrogen fuel cell. For example, hydrogen fuel cells are silent. They don't make any noise. And in a military environment, you want to be quiet.
Yep.
It doesn't have a heat signature, very much of a heat signature. So at night when there's somebody trying to target you using infrared, they can't see you as well. So there's military advantages to this technology. Also, the only thing that comes out of an exhaust of a hydrogen vehicle, even if it's an internal combustion hydrogen vehicle, it's just water. So you can sit in an enclosed structure and do weapons loading or whatever in secret, and you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning and things like that.
So what's actually happening then? What's the plan for the short term and for the long term here in Hawaii?
Okay, for the military here, what we're doing is we're developing actually the future flight line for the Air Force. And part of that is not just decreasing the fossil fuel use on the flight line, but decreasing the aviation fuel you need to take things places.
Right.
Because a lot of, if you look at the last couple of wars, when we deploy, and we have expeditionary forces in the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, and the Navy, we push things out away from us, and that's all logistics cost. So everything you move costs money and costs fuel. So we're designing equipment that you can make the fuel where you're at using water and electricity, like solar power, wind power, and water. You can make hydrogen carbon-free on your base. You don't have to ship it. So our long-term goal is to show the Air Force, no matter whether they're here at home or deployed, they can have energy security and also develop their own energy sources and storage right on their own facility and not have to depend on outsiders.
So the only kind of knock I've heard against hydrogen fuel cells is safety, right? So you're talking about security from the meta level. Is it safe?
Yeah, hydrogen, I guess, since the early Hindenburg days when that was kind of
I'm from New Jersey, so I know this
the
history.
big media, when, radio and video and photos first came out, that was a huge event. Unfortunately, it's stuck in everybody's mind in history. But Zeppelins had been used for decades before that, very safely, and traveled thousands, tens of thousands of miles across the Atlantic many times, very safely. And what we do is vehicles and the systems we use pure hydrogen. Pure hydrogen is not flammable. It's only flammable when you mix it with oxygen. So we keep the hydrogen and oxygen separate in our systems, and it's very safe. You can actually shoot a tracer bullet into a hydrogen tank and it won't explode. It'll just vent all the hydrogen.
Well, good luck with your proving ground.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in the GreenBiz studio today.